Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So first and foremost, please be sure to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. The overwhelming majority of you that watch my content don't subscribe, but you can fix that by just clicking the subscribe button below. Alright, so last week we broke some news with regards to a Russian cargo plane delivering some goods from Iran in Uppington, from all places. But now a little bit of digging and research has been done by some investigative journalists from City Press, and let me be first to acknowledge, well done on doing investigative journalism with regards to this. But now what they have found is something far more sinister than what we initially thought. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's far more sinister. South Africa helicopters smuggled to Libyan Warlord via Russian flights. Now, this is the one that made all the news, the Abakan Air IL-76, that we don't know what the cargo was, but now we know. At least 4 Gazelle helicopters were flown out from Lanseria Airport aboard an IL-76 aircraft over 2 months, with flight plans falsely listing Jordan as the destination, while the helicopters ended up in General Khalifa Haftar's rebel territory in Benghazi. Yeah. Russian airline Abakan Air, blacklisted by the US for supplying weapons to Wagner and Africa Corps, was involved in the operation, switching off transponders or deviating from official routes to evade detection. The exports violate UN sanctions against delivering military equipment to Haftar, with no evidence that government officials inspected the cargo or prevented the transfers. Now, the way that this is confirmed is by seeing the serial number over here and, of course, the fact that it has been put together. And one of them had a special paint job, as you can see over here. And, of course, very cleverly, they hid the serial number of the aircraft behind the flag over here. But this has been confirmed to have belonged to a South African that sold it. So there's a lot of things to unpack here. I'm not going to read through all of this, but Haftar has built up powerful military after once being one of Gaddafi's top generals. He has already acquired a variety of aircraft for his air force, including the Gazelles. Some of the South African Gazelles in this militarized configuration were illegally taken across the border to Mozambique one night, where they were deployed as gunships against extremists in northern Cabo Delgado by a private military group. And it just goes on. Eventually at the end it says, according to this, Haftar would have targeted certain buildings and people with his militia to ultimately overthrow the Libyan government. He needed the South African helicopters for his plan. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So first and foremost, it's important to note that it is not the South African National Defence Force that are bringing these aircraft into South Africa and then adjusting it and breaking it down and then shipping it to Libya, where it is then put together again. This is shocking on 2 fronts. The first reason is because this is private individuals and companies in South Africa that is breaking the law and militarizing these helicopters that the UN said should not be militarized again, and then they're selling it to a Libyan warlord. That's right. So that is the first massive red flag here, that South African companies are militarizing these helicopters and then sending it to Libya. Who is behind this? This is the very first thing we need to find out. Secondly, the fact that our government's border controls and the ones that should inspect aircrafts and submarines and anything coming in and going out of this country has miserably failed. So the government is responsible for the fact that these helicopters have left South Africa and also that it came into South Africa. Because if they did their jobs, then we would not indirectly be assisting and funding a warlord in Libya that wants to rise up against his own government. That's right. This is what South Africa is a part of. Private individuals, private companies, and the government failing to inspect cargo. This is why we are in the situation we are in right now. And this is why we truly look like the skunk of the earth. Because not only are we friends with Iran and friends with Russia and doing everything in our power to break the relationship between us and the United States, but we are also now clearly supporting warlords in Libya, where innocent people are brutally murdered and killed because of this individual trying to overthrow the government. At what point are we going to ask the obvious questions? Who are these companies? Who are the individuals? Why is the government failing in keeping our borders safe and not allowing these other countries and their interests impeding on our constitutional rights in South Africa? Now, it's also important to know that the only reason why the city press and so many people are now finding out about this is because a lot of people have reported the IL-76 landing at Lanseria and taking off from Lanseria, because it is clearly a very heavy aircraft, and the fact that people could hear it and that they could see it. I received a lot of emails from people saying, listen, thanks for that video, but we are seeing this type of aircraft come over and land at Lanseria quite a lot. Now we know why. Because every time these IL-76s landed at Lanseria, it was either to move cargo from there to Libya. And of course, the fact that they put off their responders when it was supposed to go to Jordan, but ended up in Libya, tells you that a lot of people need to be dragged before a commission to find out what is going on here. Because the South African government surely must know when something like this takes place. We all have been to airports. We all understand this high security that goes on when you as an individual want to travel. Now, surely on the planes and in the cargo itself, that should even be at a higher standard. But yet here we are, where we have just supplied from what we know. There is still a lot that we don't know. But just from what we know, we have provided 4 Gazelle Helicopters to Libya to help that warlord fight the government, which ironically is called, wait for it, the Government of National Unity. So the Government of National Unity in South Africa is failing in managing the borders and doing inspections so far that we are sending 4 Gazelle helicopters and a lot more probably that we don't know and that we will still uncover to a warlord that is fighting the GNU over there. So our GNU is assisting somebody fighting another country's GNU. This is mind-blowing. So we need to get answers. We need to find out who are these companies that bought these aircrafts from individuals, and why are they disassembling it, acting like they're sending it to Jordan, but it's ending up in Libya. Who are these individuals? Who are these companies? And who are the people in government responsible for not keeping our borders safe and allowing us to indirectly fund a warlord? It is insane. It's absurd. And what's also important to note here is that the Western world is looking at us and seeing, oh, okay, so not only have you opened the ICJ case against Israel in support of Hamas and Palestine, but you also have deals with Iran. Iran's aircrafts are landing in South Africa through Russian cargo planes. We're doing the things that we are doing with Russia. And now, of course, we are indirectly involved in a civil war in Libya. And all of this under the nose of our government. Apparently, they don't know. How possible is it that the government does not know that this is taking place in South Africa? Truly. Do you really think that our intelligence over here don't know about these individuals selling these helicopters to a warlord in Libya? Do you truly believe that they don't know that? Well, then I've got an ocean property to sell you in Bloemfontein. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to smash that like button, share this video far and wide, and consider subscribing to this channel if you enjoy my content. And if you want to go further than that, you can also support my channel financially every month by becoming a member. You can do that by clicking the join button below, and it will be greatly appreciated. And that's all I got to say. Till later, cheers, and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. I wear my massacre. You don't even know me, but every time you see me, you say I wear my massacre. I wear my